Hi everyone, welcome to Writer of the Week. Today we're here with Elizabeth Silva, author of Another Cheesy Family Newsletter. Welcome Elizabeth, how are you today?
I'm very well, thank you. Thank you for having me.
So what was the catalyst that made you want to write this book, and when did that happen?
Well, I've been writing it all along without really having the intention of writing a book. I've just kind of kept journals and recorded, important things that happened in my life and so on. But when I retired back in 2012, I applied for what they call community voices with the Dallas Morning News. And you send in a sample, and if you're chosen, then they pick you as a community voice. And you send in their op-ed articles, opinion articles from time to time. And that kind of convinced me that I knew how to write. And I've sent in a lot of those articles that were published. And so I was retired and had a little bit more time on my hands. And I decided just to start putting things together and to make it a book.
And was there anything that surprised you along the way in the process of writing the book?
What surprised me was the memories that I wrote about, and having a little distance between the memory and when it actually happened made me feel, well, in some cases I relived it. In other cases, I felt that maybe I overreacted here and there. So it was a good experience for me personally. It helped me grow.
And what has your experience been with the method you chose to publish?
Well, I never having written a book and not knowing anybody who has published, well, I have a friend, not a close friend who has, but I didn't know exactly how to go about it. And because of my age, I did a lot of research, and I chose not to go the traditional publishing route because I didn't have enough years in my life to get 300 rejection letters, So I went through, I think they call them Vanity Press. It's a company called Book Fuel, but there's a bunch of them out there. And they offer services anywhere from editing your book to printing it. Mostly what they did was print it and distribute it to the various channels. And then they have, extra services that they offer. But I didn't even choose the editing. I was an English teacher. I edit everything. I'm the world's worst grammar police. So I asked them to do it. If I had to do it again, I think I would just go through Amazon and self-publish that route, but I would not go for traditional publishing, like I said, because I just don't have time.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. And the book covers a span of 20 years. How long did it take you to write it, and are the holiday newsletters real?
It took me, it took me 20 years. I wrote a lot of it down. When something would happen, a lot of times I would commit it to paper, pen and paper. And then the newsletters I started writing a long, long time ago. And they're real. I wrote them every year. They're word for word. The names and the places are changed, but they are very real. And I still send them out. I'll send one this year.
And how do you define the difference between supporting and enabling a loved one? Because I know that's a theme throughout the book.
You know, I don't really know that I know the difference. Obviously, I was a huge enabler, and I still am in a lot of ways. But I think if I had sought help in the beginning when I found out my daughter was addicted, like gone to Al-Anon or gone to one of those support groups that from people who have been there, that I would have been far less of an enabler than I became. But part of my problem was when I realized what we were doing, my daughter would run to my mother and my stepdad. So I knew that if I, asked her to leave or cut her off financially or whatever, that they were going to follow up and take up where I left off. So that's really tough. And then supporting your kids, I think the definition of supporting is helping your kids to help themselves. With enabling, you're just helping your kids. And a lot of times when you're helping them, you're just enabling them to become more helpless because they'll depend on you for everything. So sometimes it's hard to draw the line, but through the years, that's kind of what I've learned, that if I'm helping them to help themselves, really and truly helping them to help themselves, then I'm supporting them.
I love that definition. And who are your readers, and what do you want to tell them about the book?
My readers can be anywhere from college age, I would say. I don't think teens would be super interested, but college age all the way up through my age, almost everybody. I can't think of anybody who doesn't have a family member who is not an alcoholic or a drug addict. And so anybody that has to deal with that on a regular basis, or anybody who has mental illness in the family, I think would be very interested in it. And then anyone that just wants to read an interesting story of what happened to my family, as the years go by, because I go a lot into my family background too, that influenced the way I behaved, and I guess went all the way down through my kids. I mean, you learn from your parents, and that's how I learned to be an enabler from my mother. She was an enabler with my dad, who was an alcoholic, and I just picked right up where she left off. So I think it's a good story. A lot of people who have relatively what they call normal families have told me that it opened their eyes to what people are going through, and it made them feel blessed that they didn't have to, that they had, their kids were grown, they were off, they were doing well, and they didn't have to go through that. So I think it would reach a wide variety of people, probably women more than men.
Yeah, it sounds like there's something for everyone in there. Elizabeth's book is available on Amazon, and if you want to find out more, you can go to her website, elizabethsilvawriter.com. Thank you so much for being with us today, and we wish you a lot of success with the book.
Well, thank you. I appreciate it.